My name is Sarah Eggleston. I grew up in a place in northern Utah between Salt Lake City and Provo called Lehi. Population about 62,000. I attended Lehi High School, one of the oldest public schools in the area. While I was there, I was in a few AP and concurrent enrollment classes such as AP Literature, Spanish 2010, and Math 1050, and a lot of honors classes, including honors math and English courses. Although I took these advanced classes, most of my classes in high school were theater classes. By my senior year, over half of my schedule was theater. I had Drama 4, TA for Drama 3, Musical Dance Theater, and Advanced Technical Theater. The school was comprised of mostly white middle-class students. However, within the theater program, we had a bit more diversity, or at least I felt like there was. Maybe because those were the students I was interacting with the most. The theater attracted people of all walks of life, yet the program still followed the same demographic as the rest of the school. I myself fit in with the majority. I was white, middle class, female, able, and I spoke English. Because I was in the majority and took advanced courses, I didn't really know what it was like for the minority. However, from what I saw, it seemed like they were pretty well differentiated for and included, especially within the theater program. But I cannot speak accurately on their behalf because I didn't experience what they went through. I'd love to say that the school was fairly diverse, seeing as we had a Latino club and a poly club, but that was pretty much the extent of our diversity outside of the norm. Cultural capital was fairly important within the groups I was associated with. During social times within school, we talked about a lot of things outside of our school experience, such as mobile apps, memes, games, or social outings. Although we discussed those things, we also talked about commonalities within our classes and within the shows we were involved with. I wasn't as involved with the same cultural capital or theatrical commonalities as my peers, but I had enough to be accepted, which is possibly more than I can say for some of my other peers. I know the ideology of my theater teacher, the teacher I had the most interactions with, definitely benefited those she deemed the most talented, promising, or hardworking. She was very accepting and inclusive, and made sure that she had time with each student, but that was mainly in her lower level classes. I based my ideology a lot on what I learned from her. I agreed with a lot of what she taught and put out there in her classrooms and productions. Her ideology didn't benefit a specific demographic, or at least I don't think so. Her favorite students were quite diverse, going from Hispanic gay males to red-headed straight females. She looked at hard work and talent within her subject area, and those were the students that benefited. In my future classroom, based on my high school experience, I want to be as inclusive and understanding of my students as I possibly can. I want my students to feel comfortable and at home with themselves and their peers in my program and classroom. No matter how different my students may be from each other, I want them to use their diversities as an asset and not a detriment. Luckily for me, I can implement that within theater. I'm not sure if there is such much of a thing like privilege within theater, besides the privilege that we as a teacher might give them, such as casting or experiences. Each student, each actor, is valued for the differences they bring to the table. The more different you are, the more valuable you are. However, in technical theater, the more skill or experience you have, the more useful you are, but also the more you are able to help those with lesser knowledge and skill. I also believe that teenagers are capable of so much more than we give them credit for, and they can impress us if we give them the chance to do so, which I want to do in my curriculum. I also believe that teenagers are capable of acting like adults, if we treat them as such. But with that, we also need to be aware that they are still teenagers that are developing and going through some tough and stressful things in their lives. That idea, that teens are more mature than we think, I got from my high school theater teacher. She made sure to always treat us like adults, and had higher professional expectations of us. She didn't handle us with kid gloves, which I know as a teenager I hated to be treated like that, and greatly appreciated that she did that for us. And I want to do the same for my future students. I also want to make sure that my students go out of my classroom prepared for the real world. And I want to be able to help them relieve stress from their everyday lives as teens. Teenage years are not the greatest, but as a teacher, I want to be able to make it a little better for them. Overall, my personal high school experience has had a large impact on my ideology and ideas on what I want to teach and put into my own program and classroom, and potentially productions I put on at the high school I teach at. I want to be able to help my students to the best of my ability and in the ways that they need me to affect their lives, and I hope that reflects my teaching and in how I present myself to the administrators and students.